was pretty timid, quiet. Actually, I was terribly timid, quiet, genteel fella. If I hadn't have discovered cycling, I don't know where my life would have gone.
Really,
to be honest with you, it's been opened a lot of doors for me.
Been a ride, yeah.
After a couple of years in the Cape, I even got the courage to talk to girls. I got talking to a girl in Altona, and I've been married to her for 52 years now, you know.
Might have been the shaved legs, Frank.
It might have.
Maybe, you reckon?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, Frank, welcome to Off the Bike. Your obviously background was being a road cyclist.
That's correct.
You managed to find the velodrome okay?
Yeah. I love track racing, so I've been a spectator for more than a few times. So It's a pleasure to be here.
No worries.
Pleasure to help out.
No, it's fine, mate. You're Italian heritage.
Yeah.
How important was riding a bike in the early days for Italian migrants?
Gee, I should be able to answer that question, Shane. I don't know that I can properly.
That's right.
Because my parents, I never got any encouragement from my parents to ride a bike. But the Italians back then, the local Italians back then, they used to flock to see the bike racing and get annoyed at the Aussie competitors if they give their boys a hard time.
Hard time, yeah. Do you reckon that was a big part of why the crowds were so big at the North Essendon board or the Olympic track?
Yeah. Oh, obviously, cycling was pretty popular in Australia anyway. But certainly the Italians did bring plenty of people through the gate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's I've heard so many great stories about the the Italian champions, whether they were sprinters or whether they were endurance guys.
Yeah.
Just that. I suppose they built up such a story around it as well.
That's right, of course.
Because who would have been the promoter?
I think Ted Waterford.
Ted Waterford.
In them days, yeah. He did it for a number of years, and I think he would have been in full flight then with this promotional thing, which obviously done a good job because for the Austral, I think they used to put them in the arena. They used to queue up outside. It doesn't happen that often in cycling events now. You've got to queue up to get into the place.
No.
But in them days, and I think for the Austral in particular, they, I've seen it a couple of times, even though I was only a 15, 16-year-old, that they had people in the arena with the bike riders, get them all in sort of thing. So it was pretty big then, the game.
Huge. Who, off the top of your head, mate, who were some of the champions, the Italian stars that came out?
Well, Giuseppe Ogna, and Moratini, because Mario Moratini.
Maspis, did he come out?
Yeah, but he did, but he was after them, I reckon, Shane. Yeah, they were sort of Enzo Sacchi, Moratini, Giuseppe Ogna. But I think Maspis was a few years further on than
on that, yeah.
Yeah, but
they
were good. They were all good riders, of course, as I remember. Otherwise, I guess they wouldn't have been invited out. But they were quite capable of giving the Aussies a hard time. But the Aussies,
they wouldn't have held back though, would they?
No. Sid Patterson and Reynolds used to stir the Italian. But he obviously guaranteed a few more hundred coming through the gates.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think they threw their best shoes at Reynolds, but they probably didn't.
They had a crack at it though. But I suppose that that's what it was about though. Was putting on a show, and obviously there was still the competitiveness and every time they got on the track they were going to have a crack. But
that's right.
That's what it was
and
about.
That's why they was very, very popular. Yeah. Don't know that it's been the same since, unfortunately. But anyway.
I'd probably think it's probably lacked its characters like Patos and Mockridge and those guys.
Fellas,
It's hard to compare, I suppose.
It is. Yeah, you're not wrong.
But when you look at the numbers of people on seats, it definitely hasn't been as strong.
No.
Still depth-wise,
but
we're
going well with cycling, aren't we?
Yeah,
absolutely. So
you're a roadie all your career. Just to give us an idea, mate, how you got into the sport.
Well, I loved football, still do. I wasn't robust enough to handle myself at football, and I just got to ride an old bike around the streets of Footscray. We were living in Footscray then, and and got a real buzz out of just dashing around corners, just around the block in Footscray, near where I lived.
Seeing how quick you could go.
Yeah, got a real buzz out of this Cape, although cycling wasn't as big as it is now in Australia, you still got a fair few photos in the paper. The Argus newspaper and coloured photos actually started. And I'd see a photo of Heck Sutherland. He was a great Footscray rider, both road and track, scratchman on both road and track. Photos of him and others, and I thought, gee, I'd like that. I got the feeling that I'd like to give it a crack. See, so I forced myself because I was pretty timid, quiet. Actually, I was terribly timid, quiet, genteel fella. If I hadn't have discovered cycling, I don't know where my life would have gone.
Really,
to be honest with you, it's been opened a lot of doors for me.
Been a ride, yeah.
After a couple of years in the Cape, I even got the courage to talk to girls. I got talking to a girl in Altona, and I've been married to her for 52 years now, you know.
Might have been the shaved legs, Frank.
It might have
Maybe,
been.
You reckon?
Yeah. But yeah, that's so I went down to the local Footscray Club.
Yep.
But I spent apprenticeship, if you want to call it that. I spent 4 years and a bit as an amateur, and then just went straight across to the pros. So I've been with the Footscray Club for 60 years now.
60 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, mate. Just in your early days, who were your teachers? Who were the guys? Your role models.
Well, down there, the Footscray just prior to me coming in as a 15-year-old, they had Graham Stabell, Albie Saunders, his Heck Sutherland.
Yep.
They had a lot, and Peter Pan come from Western Australia. He rode at Footscray, and they had a lot of great road riders, in them days. But when I got into the pros then, the Beasley family, of course, the John Senior now, but his father was the original was J.J. Beasley, well, he was John. But this is the guy that I'm talking about, the coach, his father, John's. Yep. And he tackled the Tour de France twice, but unfortunately, I don't think he finished. But he's a tough roadie, and the rest of the Beasley family, Lynn Beasley, and Clinton Beasley, but Clinton Beasley, Clinker they call him. He'd finished when I come along, but he must have been a sensational bike rider. I think he got the fastest time in the Warrnambool as an 18-year-old.
As an 18-year-old?
That'd
be the youngest.
Well,
still.
Maybe Willie Walker or some of them might have won it younger, but how a fella can be on either scratchman or second scratchman, I think you'd have to be a scratchman or second scratchman to get fastest time.
At least,
To be on a scratch in 160 mile,
18.
218. And I think he might have won an Austral, but I think he used to lead people out and run second, get a quid to feed the family. He must have been a great rider.
Well, that's it. I suppose the incentive, to survive. Maybe that was the real push.
Yeah.
Compared, as we've talked, a lot more money involved in the sport today. Maybe that, just that hunger. I'm sure you would have seen that. The days of racing, to put a feed on your table. I'm sure that's
desperados. It's pretty tough. And he was an old man, well, fairly old man, and before I started riding these Warrnambools. And there's a famous photo, I think it's a famous photo, and he's in the Rowley, one of the scratchmen's winning the Warrnambool, the great Eddie Smith second, and Clinker Beasley, who was a lot older than him, he's given for second position. See, so to get a quick...
How'd he go? Did he get it?
He might have got disqualified. I don't know how disqualified completely, but from that George, he must have been a great rider. To win Wang wheel races, Austral wheel races, and still get times and that in Warrnambools and lead people out. He probably led out more than he probably won. He should have done.
The obviously, you've talked about the Warrnambool. Your hunger, your passion for the Warrnambool. You'd have to have the record 34.
Yeah, well, I know.
Starts.
There's a few other roosters claim to have done that.
And they got the proof.
I've got good on you. I've got the proof because I even got the programs with the
little medallions, mate. They're that tells the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whether they've got the proof or not.
Yeah.
And but as you know, Shane, bike riders are the best liars in the world. No one ever trains, but they kick your ass, don't they? You know, we're the best liars in the world. I had to work from 7:30 till 4 o'clock for 40 years. I got most of me form come from races. Footscray Club.
Yeah.
We'd
Weekends.
race, weekends, both Saturday and Sunday. And there's been a club race one week and open the next, Melbourne to Bendigo or Melbourne to Yarrawong and so on. And so I just mainly built up from say Easter till October when the Warrnambool's on, over
Step it up.
6 years, just get to hopefully find top fitness come the Warrnambool.
By then.
But so I don't know whether I've really ever done the training to ride that far. But anyway, I give it my best shot. I love doing it, and it was a bloody buzz for me to.
But you're right though. But obviously, you had to work.
Yeah.
You got to put the hours in there.
Yeah.
Did you so weekends where you got your big Ks done? What about early in the morning during the week?
Not at all.
I was going to say you haven't got many more hours left in the day.
Well, that's right. Now no one will probably believe this, but I'm going to. I'd knock off 4 o'clock. I'll be sitting down for tea at 6 o'clock. Now that sounds like a lie. It's not a lie. I'm not good at telling lies, so I'm going to start now. But as I say, I was a lightly built man, never put on much weight, but at the weekends I'd hang in there, like my life depended on it.
Yeah.
They bloody got every ounce out of the race.
Out of that weekend,
I'd stick like shit to a blanket, they couldn't, and that got me fitter and fitter over a 6 month period.
Yeah.
But I guess big guys. Hilton Clark, John Billsma come to mind because they were racing there.
Yeah.
I guess they could maybe flog themselves every day, but I was very lightly built. I was built like a hill climber, really.
Yeah.
And I discovered that by not sleeping a week, but by just getting all the energy back and just hanging in there the weekends, I went all right. I went pretty good.
Yeah.
No superstar, but I went.
You're there, mate.
Okay,
That's it.
Yeah.
So your day job, like physically, was it demanding or?
No, not bad. But I did because that's a good question because, I wasn't swinging picks or anything. Although I was with the Footscray Council for 15 years, and some of that work was shoveling work. But both Footscray Council for 15 years, and another 15 years at ICI Ammunition Factory in Deer Park, and both places, when the opportunity come to do an office job. Although I told you I'm not a Philadelphia lawyer, not with the big heads at the town hall, so at Footscray, but at the factory, at the depot itself. When the opportunity came to do an office job, I grabbed it. Because I was getting back to your question, I guess.
Sit down and
get off my backside. Put my backside down.
Yeah.
So then that was a big help, of course. Yeah.
Semi-recover during the week.
Yeah.
But it's
even on the training track. Gee, I was a lazy. I reckon I was a lazy bugger for training. I never really trained hard at all.
No.
But in the race,
you could race.
I must have been terrified to get left. I'd hang there like my life depended on it, which I'm pretty proud of.
But that's a good quality as well. You knew that put that number on your back.
Yeah.
You're going to be hard to shake.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that, mate. That's a
course,
good quality to have.
Of course. So in other words, by doing every turn I possibly could to sort of make it tough, not much sprint left, is there? I was never a sprinter, although I have produced some sprints on a number of occasions when because I wasn't bloke that could bloody push me right around either. But anyway, and of course there wasn't much sprint left if I'd done every turn, but it kept me in the caper for 51 years at 51 road seasons.
Not a bad innings, mate.
Yeah.
So you. As far as on the boards, you didn't venture onto the track?
Yeah, I rode. I only ever rode the Tassie track carnivals once, 1960, Christmas 61, New Year. And although I got my backside kicked, you get that much racing there. When I come back, I got in the Austral final, I actually rode the fastest heat.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't, I got to the front and stayed there for 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah.
And
wound it up.
And rode the fastest heat. But the heats were held tonight, and the final was the following Saturday.
Okay.
In the final, with the one, might have run 5th or 6th. I had a bad fall. John Young come underneath me, but I was pretty rigid. I don't blame him at all. He come underneath me at the final bend actually. and he must have clipped the elbow, and down I went.
Yeah, yep.
But and then I went. That was 1961. Then 1972, I went up to Wangaratta and managed to get in the final there. I had good form there at Wang.
Australia Day Carnival.
Yeah, Australia Day Carnival.
Yep.
So, I got in the finals of Austral and Wang. For a guy that mainly rode the road, I'm pretty pleased with that, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant. So just
I think Rob Wetters was a damn good biker, you would have heard of Shane.
Yep.
Him and Oliver, I think Wetters might have won that final at Wang.
Okay.
The Austral, the bloke who won 2 or 3 Aussie road titles, Fred Roach, he won it. He only got in for the semi-finals on the night, you know. Yeah, and he managed to win that one.
Got in there. No, it's great. Listening, some of those names, they are names I've heard, through my dad, and obviously looking back at the history of the sport. But you've raced so many of those guys. Who I know it's always hard to pinpoint one. Well, maybe just give us an idea of a couple. The best guys you raced with. Just give us an idea.
Well, John Billsma, he's a class above me. He's twice an Olympian, it's true. Yeah. But because he was Footscray and Hilton Clark, well, they were scratchmen, I wasn't. But because they come out there to ride club races, they were great riders, and I enjoyed tackling them. And Billy Brooks, who got killed, Hilton Clark bought Bill Brooks, Jeff Edmonds, who won an Austral, and Heath, I forget his his Christian name, but Bruce Heath. Anyway, he brought them out. Well, they weren't Footscray riders, but he brought them out to race with us. Well, it was a great racing against them guys, But in 1990, the club had Danny Clark to ride in our club tour. Well, it should be a club members event only, our 3-day tour that we have, our famous 3-day tour at Queen's birthday weekend. Yep. And that was just after Danny won his 3 or 4 months after he won his 3rd Austral. Yeah. Anyway, but I didn't ride that one. But had I ridden it, well, gee whiz, I haven't seen many bike riders much better than Danny Clark.
No, I think be a lot of people who say exactly the same thing. Yeah. Danny Clark, 1972. Won the silver in at the Olympics.
Stuttgart, no. 72.
72.
Oh, yeah, he timed. That was a time trial.
Yeah, time trial. Same year I was born.
Yeah.
And then a guy that I did, at school I did projects on him and had posters of him, and then I was his actual teammate in 1995 World Champs. 23 years. Later I couldn't believe it. He's my hero. Yeah. Then he's my teammate. Yeah. Great guy.
And you're pretty handy yourself. Pretty good boy, but this is not who I race against. But you asked, but Patey, in Tassie in particular, I think he won the Aces Scratch race at the Boxing Day at Latrobe, 9 years.
He's hard to beat, that's for sure. I
had the 10th year, I think he had a broken shoulder or collarbone, so
I had a few head-to-head.
He was tough.
A few head-to-head tussles with him. Hard guy to beat. But that's it. There's so many characters of the sport. Whether it's in your day or my day, it's certainly a great sport, and it's certainly created a lot of great memories for me, and I'm sure for yourself, the memories and people you've met. Yeah. As you said, it's a pathway. Would you have gone down that pathway?
Oh, gee, I shudder to this day. This might sound stupid, but I shudder to this day if I think of where my life would have gone if I hadn't discovered cycling. Yeah. Oh, it's been opened a lot of doors, see. Yeah, I don't think, I went to, as I told you before, went to Italy with the wife in 1983. To see the relations that left, because my father, my father was in the Footscray Cemetery when I was a 22-year-old, and my mother followed him nine years later, and so I wanted to go and see my wife's an Altona girl. She's an Aussie girl. Well, I'm an Aussie. I was born in Little Italy, Lygon Street, in the back alleys of Lygon Street somewhere there. They got the famous Royal Women's Hospital only a drop kick away, and yet I was born in a back alley there somewhere. I love to pinpoint exactly where it is some fine day while I'm still around. But it's great. Cycling's been great, and the people you meet, all right, they're opponents, but they're terrific. You know, it's a real buzz. It's a real buzz for me even now that I'm not riding. To come weekend to get down there and watch the young blokes having a go and try and encourage them. You know.
Yeah, but that's it. It's in your blood. It's something you've done for so long.
Yeah.
And that, you know, to do 34 Melbourne or Warrnambools, you know, to back up every year.
Yeah, that's right.
To do it, it's you must just love it. There must be a passion.
Because after all, it means 34 Warrnambool, they've had 51 road seasons. Well, that's 51 Melbourne winters, isn't it? You've got to be pretty bloody keen to want to.
Any as cold as this one?
I don't think there was. I don't think there was.
I suppose getting out on the bike, getting in the elements. That's another thing too,
isn't it? But no, it's been great. And if I see, I'm no coach. It's a wonder with all the experience I should have had. It's a wonder I'm not, but I'm not a coach. But I do encourage young ones, particularly if I see they've got their heads bowed when they've had their ass kicked. I encourage them. Say, you know, it's not the end of the world. No. The computer would have picked something up. You'll be a different boy next week.
Another race.
Yeah, but
that's.
I say that, you know, some poor bugger in a wheelchair love to swap places with you, even though you haven't won today. It's a bloody winner having a go, having a crack. That's the thing.
But that's it. You know, just little things like that. It's got to be satisfying for yourself as well.
Yeah, it is.
You might not be a day-to-day coach, but little words of wisdom and.
I love it actually.
Yeah, but that's it. There's a wealth of knowledge there. It's good. It's good that you can actually go out to a race and people are going to listen as well.
And positions you're saying, hey, I got a problem. I like alcohol. I'm not a victim, but I like alcohol. I'm not a druggie or anything like that. But the positions you could say I'm hooked. And if I see a guy too high or too low, or a girl for that matter, too high or too low, I like to encourage them. Not tell them to do it, but say, listen, I reckon you're too high. But if someone else says that to you in a few months' time, don't do anything now. But I love to encourage people.
No, that's good, mate. I think it's important as well. I think have young guys and girls having mentors. I think it is important.
You can save them. You know, even just a position that can save them months or years of. They're not missing out on where they should be. You know,
or getting a back or knee
exactly.
knee problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you look at today's standard of racing and the guys and girls that we've got travelling the world racing so much. It's certainly it's got to be a big change from the days when you started.
Yeah.
Obviously the dollars involved and I know there was still probably a lot of travelling. In your time,
but no, it's a different world now, isn't it?
Different world.
And it's great that the Aussies are going that well. That they've been snapped up, haven't they? The Europeans have got their eyes on them, haven't they? You know, they're managers or whatever you call them.
Well, certainly for a while, the Aussies have been, they've had a target on their back, and it's got to be encouraging, for the young kids coming through that the pathways now are as good as they are, and there's not just the pathways, but there's all the support as well.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, we should get bigger and better, shouldn't we?
Wow. You said earlier, there's 12 lined up for the Tour de France. That's not bad.
Pretty good. I went to the Giro 2010.
Yep.
That's when Cadell won a stage covered in mud when he had the World Championship jumper on. And the Aussies, there's four jerseys you can win. And the pink one in Italy, of course. And the Aussies won the other three. Richie Port, the young riders.
Yeah.
And Matthews and Cadell. He won the sprinters thing. Like Cadell's no sprinter, did he? But on the points thing, he won the
points,
sprinters.
The climbers.
The climber. He's a local fella. Gee, he won an Australian title, but he's not riding at the moment. Matthew. Anyway, they won 3 of the 4 jumpers, and I said to my relations there, I said, this won't happen for another 1,000 years. That's not a bad effort for Aussies. You win 3 out of the 4 bloody jumpers, isn't it?
Very good.
Yeah, magic, really.
Wow.
And Cadell, he had no real team support. He's with BMC then. He had no real team support. He was a one-man team, which is a big statement. But the Gazette of Little Sport told us that, and I've probably got the copy at home, that he's a one-man team. Mind you, I think BMC done it purposely waiting for the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Well, that was the tour the year before he won it. That was the tour where he was the leader and broke his elbow, remember?
Yeah.
And he was in tears, and he still rode for 2 weeks. Like, I think the doctor said, you're mad, you know, you should pull out, but he rode for 2 weeks with him. So besides that diesel his parents gave him, he's a gutsy, tough bugger, isn't he?
Well, to do that, you know, okay, most of your legs are doing the work, but obviously the support of your arms and shoulders and the elbow, that's still a bit of pressure there.
Gee.
I wouldn't like to do it.
No. It might have been, see, the fact that the doctor said he was being, probably a silly thing to do, but just shows how keen he was. But the next year, finally, a bit of justice.
Yeah.
When he kicked the guy.
The big one, yeah.
Oh, gee.
No, couldn't. Would love to have been there, but you know, just to see it on TV was
a bit of magic all the same.
Yeah.
The Aussies are going terrific.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If the Aussies don't win, I'm more than happy to see the Italians win this game, but believe me, I'm, regardless of my name, I'm a true blue Aussie.
Yeah, that's you're born here, mate. You're born here.
That's right. Yeah.
So you race for so long. You active. You're riding many years. 50. What'd you say? 51 years.
Yeah.
Still today, you're still having a pedal?
No. Hey, I've got this Bianchi that I was telling you about before. And I do go out. I'm always waiting for the good weather, but but I do go out. But unfortunately, not as often as I should. When I do go out, it's still a buzz.
Yeah.
That's why I can't understand why I don't go more often, because I still get a kick out of it. So it's why I don't go more often, but the intention's still there. So
Oh well, that's it. But if you still get that buzz, mate, that says something, doesn't it?
That's right.
It's addictive.
I took the bike to Italy a couple of months ago. I was there when the Giro was on. I went to see a 95-year-old auntie, my mother's 95-year-old sister. Yeah. And my relations, 50 k's directly north of Venice. There's like a Dandenongs there. They had the world road title there in 1985. My father was born at one end of these Dandenongs and my mother at the other. And I took the bike there because I was staying on a motel on top of these Dandenongs where my mother's NC. But I only got to use it, of the 28, 29 days I was there, I only used it 8 or 9 times, because the rest of the time my relations buzzed me around, chauffeured me around, so I didn't get the use of it that I should have done. But anyway, at least it was there.
It's good in the hotel room, or hanging your clothes on.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do.
Because you got that right.
Your towel sits nice.
Yeah. And the only stage I've seen of the Giro, they went from Treviso, Pinarello, the home of Pinarello, to Valdobbiadene. Valdobbiadene is the home of the Italian white wine. That's their champagne, in their opinion. That's the French have got the champagne. They got the Prosecco. Prosecco. Yeah. Valdobbiadene. And in the 29 days, the only time I've seen rain, there was that day I had the umbrella up for 6 hours. It was a time trial, a 60k.
Yeah.
Remember that, a 59.4k time trial? It was that day.
Yeah.
And me and my relation dropped me off and come back at 5 o'clock to get me 6 hours later. And it was a climb there, 6 k's to go. It was no good going to see the finish. I got to go see what the knockout blows do up this climb. A place called Guia, funny name, Guia, Guia. And they had this good climb, and they turned at the top. And it was a good spot there. But
good spot.
Other than this umbrella for 6 hours, you know.
Yeah, better a bit of sunlight and a few Proseccos, mate. Would have been better.
Would have done the trick.
So you not pedaling, not riding now?
Not much, no.
No.
But not much at all.
So your bike, what was your favourite bike? Over so many years, what's one that stands out?
There was a Petrus, made by
local.
David Brotherton.
Yes.
Well, Peter Brotherton, he's David's father. Yeah. He came out here for the Melbourne Link Mix as a pursuiter, I think, and stayed in Australia. And he made this Petrus. And that one, Shane, that because it was built. I had originally had a Bianchi from Italy 60 years ago, but it wasn't the right size really. And then I got a Lignano from Italy, and again I think it was a tourist bike. But the frames made perfectly was this Petrus, and one by Wayne Roberts in South Australia.
Yeah.
He made me one. He was a club mate, right? Wayne was a club mate at Footscray before he went.
I raced with his son for
Luke.
many years.
He might have been born in Footscray Hospital, Luke, I reckon.
I think he was born above Hillman's, wasn't he?
Could have been.
No, he's around there. So who knows? Around there somewhere.
Yeah, those two, the Petrus and Wayne Roberts.
And Wayne Roberts, yeah.
And the Wayne Roberts bike was the one when I had this fall 9 years ago. That was the one I kicked the top bar. I suppose you get it fixed, but again, I said, I've had a good innings. That was that. But then there's this Bianchi. I noticed this Bianchi. I thought, I might as well grab that. I started with the Bianchi. I'll finish with the Bianchi. Let's put it that way.
So carbon fibre?
It's no, it's the forks, the front forks are carbon.
Alloy. Yeah.
It was well cheap. It was $3,000. That's about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
not too bad.
It looks a bit of magic to me, you know.
Yeah.
Especially it's still new. I hardly used it.
Nah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's, you know, even in my time, you know, the change of, you know, equipment, materials used, etc. In, you know, the time you were riding, is what were probably the biggest changes in equipment, but also in, I suppose, in training as well.
Yeah. Hey, I reckon the biggest changes were the amount of gears you could get. You know, the cluster at the back. See, we used to have, originally we only had 5 clusters, I think, when I was a boy. And then
one at the front.
And then no, we still had 2. Still at the front.
Did you have to do that by hand, or was that before?
No, I managed. What happened, Shane? I just got when I got this bike from Italy as a 15-year-old. Australia, I think, had heard of Camping Knoll. I don't think they had ever seen Camping Knoll, because when I took the bike down the Footscray bike track, just to go down there and meet these people before I joined the club, I could see, I mean, although I was 15 and not very intelligent, I keep telling you, I can see them looking at this bike. I thought, geez, I'm going to get belted up and I'm going to take this bike. This Camping Knoll, the whole eyes, they only had Simplex then before that. And Benelux, I think, Benelux and Simplex. Yeah. They were the gears. And in this thing, you know, this bike, they were looking at it and wanting to get hold of it, I think. And
it's pretty special.
So I did have the gears. Getting back to your question, I did have both levers, you know. Yep. But before that, you had to lean down and flick it over.
Flick it over, manually with the hand, Oh yeah, I've only seen pictures of it, you know, a couple of old bikes on display, but you know, I suppose going from 5 cogs at the back.
To 8 or 9, whatever it was, that was a big thing,
Now 11.
And then, that's right.
11 now.
I'm just trying to think of the brakes besides that. Even the brakes might have changed. You know, they're not like now that you haven't got the cables. We still had cables, of course, but even they improved a fair bit. I forget what it was now. But certainly there was changes, but hasn't things changed the last 20 or 30 years, even some of the bikes you rode and, you know, in those time trials you rode, geez.
Well, that's it, going from steel to, you know, now to carbon fibre, which frames, cranks, wheels, handlebars, everything's, you know, the strength and stiffness and weight, it's
and even some of them chain rings, even Wiggins rode some that are not round.
Elliptical,
What a thought to come up with, you know, oval type thing, you know.
Well, that's it. You know, even behind us now, there's testing going on. It's there's always people out there testing aerodynamics and positions, and it is because it is such a big business.
Isn't it?
It's continuous.
Amazing. It's great.
Yeah. We're on a roll, mate. Your Footscray Club, okay. The depth and the strength and the history there. It's probably something, I don't know. There might be a book already written about it, but you think your time there. You know, obviously you've mentioned some names and seen some talent, but just what makes it such a good club?
Gee, I think it's the camaraderie. I don't know if that's the right word. Although we race,
we all
truly,
mates.
You're going to get a few, let us swear, you're going to get a few arseholes in all walks of life. But over the 51 years, there's only been a couple, really, 2 or 3. Other than that, it's been one big happy family.
That's
and
good.
we, especially me or others like me, welcome, other than our memorial races and our club tour, we welcome anyone and encourage them to come and race with us, because we just want to help cycling.
Yeah.
Just like any coaches, and we just want to help cycling. But after we've raced, we used to have a beer wagon there and have a few refreshments to settle down after giving your all. Now after the .05 thing is not as much.
No.
That seemed to throw a spanner in the works. But before that, yeah, we were one big happy family for many years.
Yeah.
It was great.
Like-minded people.
Yeah.
All want to do well and give back, to the sport.
In the Warrnambool, Shane, now we've got twice the members we've ever had. I think we've got a couple of hundred members. Well, we had nowhere near that. We'd get 26, 27, 28 entries, probably a fifth of the field in the Warrnambools, in the 1980s and early 90s and that. Gee, that was a real buzz for me. Instead of just worrying about myself, I just loved the club that much. But now we've got twice as many members, and it's become a mass start, which I'm not complaining about. I wish if I was 25-year-old, I loved mass start. But we only get bloody 2 or 3 or 4 entries. I can't believe it. And we've got twice the amount of, but maybe with families these days, things are different. They ride out to criteriums, they ride to a criterium, they race for an hour and they ride home. They're home by midday and they can take the family out or whatever. I don't know what the story is, but...
well, there's that. I think also it's a lot more social riders too these days. As versus competitive. Yeah. As you see, you just see out on the weekends, their roads are full of cyclists. But the competitive side of things, maybe that's where it's dropped a bit. Yeah,
you're right. Because I think I've heard stories lately that they go out in the morning. Now we're going to go out at 5 or 6 o'clock and they race. Well, if you race and there's no prize money involved, instead of holding a bit back to beat the opposition in the sprint, you just put it all on the line, don't you? So they probably don't come and race then, see?
That's it. Every training day these days is a race. I don't know. Maybe because there's not a lot that have that objective of weekends as when I'm going to race. They just every training ride is a PB. And Strava, people want these things on online things. People want to get the best out of themselves.
In Tassie, sorry Shane, I've noticed in Tassie that the carnivals, they're not as great as they used to be numbers wise. The track rides, and I don't know whether criteriums have played their part there. See, you only need one bike, you don't need 2 bikes. Yeah. And if criteriums are to blame, well, we at Footscray should feel a bit guilty, because when they bulldoze, my employers, the Footscray Council, bulldozed our track in Robert Street with the intention to build us a new one. While we're waiting for that to happen, they built us they built up the banks and then they bulldozed because the locals were complaining. We Footscray, to survive, the Footscray Amateur Club were a good strong club, but they withered on the vine. We the pros, we thrived. We had criterium racing down at Hoppers Crossing. We might have been the first club in Australia. This is summertime, the track season, We might have been the first club in Australia to do that, to survive, but we had the likes of Don and David Allen. And Clark Class acts like that, Basanka riding. So we not only survived but thrived, I think. With these criteriums,
I don't think you can blame anything for the way things have gone, but it's just the way it is. People find their strength.
That's right.
Some people like criterium. Some people like
track or whatever.
Track. Some like racing 300k Melbourne to Warrnambool.
That's right.
I can't. Well, actually, I haven't ridden it, Frank, but I've driven it. I followed my brother and a few guys in the team car. And I was going to be stuck at the back in the convoy. I thought, no, I'm not driving.
No, for 260 cars.
At the back of a convoy, not seeing anything. So I got my track skills into order. I've weaved my way. I was pole position.
Good.
Bugger that.
Very good.
Yep.
Actually, although isn't it amazing, 263 k's or whatever, 6, 7, 8 hours, all depends on the weather. And yet, because you've got to concentrate, otherwise you fall and break a collarbone. You can concentrate for all that time. And yet, to drive there, I'd be bored stiff. I'd want to go to sleep. I'm not that fussed about driving at all. And yet, you could ride for 6 or 8 hours and be hanging in there and just not much between wheels and just enjoy every bit of it, you know.
Yeah. Okay, this question, I know each ride's going to be different, but the Melbourne to Warrnambool, what section do you think's been the toughest?
I think the stony rises, not because they're real. I think I might change my mind. No, the stony rises not because they're real tough, but all of a sudden you've done 100 miles in the old language.
Yeah.
And a lot of boys start to crack then. I noticed that year after year after year.
Was that about halfway?
It's just after halfway.
Yeah.
So yeah, 10 miles after the halfway mark. The miles, we're talking miles now.
Yeah.
And every year, each and every year, between there and Camperdown, a good climb before Camperdown, of course. Between there and Camperdown, a lot fell by the wayside.
And the wind is likely to change a bit there too.
Yeah, exactly. And that that of course blows. And there's nothing destroys a bike race more than the damn wind, as they found out in the Tour de France, didn't they? You know.
Maybe a bit cooler.
Yeah, that's true.
Temperature drops a bit.
Yeah, and of course, a bit further on, you get near terrain. Well, then you've gone a long way. Then, of course, fatigue starting to set in. Then, of course, yeah. Just anyone that's got anything left between terrain and the finish, well, they can hurt you big time.
Yeah.
You know, on those rises, they don't look like mountains, but you're starting to cramp and all sorts of trouble.
The tough guys come to the front.
Yeah, they do.
So, just talk us through like your nutrition. You know, for a race that long, what would you take with you? What would you have in your pockets? What drinks would you have?
Mainly bananas.
Yeah.
And rice custard.
Yeah.
And they used to take, not every year, but did a number of years, took sugar lumps of sugar, but mainly bananas, lumps of sugar, rice patties sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, what in like foil?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And even some years I've taken fruit cake, little squares of fruit cake.
Yeah.
But I really didn't look into that like I should have done. As far as drinks go, Shane, I used to mix honey and water and lemon juice.
Okay.
So in the early days, I had a little small aluminium flask.
Yeah.
And I thought, with 10 k's ago, I might have had a shot of brandy or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd done that much. I was beyond helping at that stage of the game, I think.
Just enough to warm you up.
Exactly.
Warm the tummy up.
Yeah.
Get things firing. That's interesting. Like you look, they're obviously all solids. There's a lot today. There's gels and they're also, some people can stomach them, some can't. But it's, I suppose it comes down to weight and the people, what works and what doesn't, and nutrition and all that. But it does, as you know, play a big part in the.
I think now I've only learned like what you read and that. Gee, we never really drank enough. Now at least they got 2 or 3 feed stations. We never had any feed stations, so you had to carry everything.
Carry it all with you.
The bidden on the front, bidden down on one of the front there.
Pockets in the front.
Yeah,
pockets in the front,
exactly.
pockets on the back.
Yeah, but the drinking thing, gee, I don't know that we've done ourselves much good health-wise, but obviously it hasn't affected me so far because we never drank anywhere like you should, I don't think,
Yeah, well, I suppose that's the thing too, as times evolved, your nutrition and hydration, exactly what you need, per kilogram and all that sort of thing.
Right.
Sports science is, another thing that's changed so much, especially in the last, 20 years.
Gee, maybe if I had my time over again now, I might have won the Warrnambool. Never ever could win it, but then again, had I won the Warrnambool, I might have a big head. I wouldn't. I'm better off being the bum I am. I think.
You wouldn't be maybe the character you are now. No, I think born and bred, mate. As you said, you're a quiet guy, but there's nothing wrong with that.
It's been great. Love it. Still do. Look forward to it, and it pleases me to see the youth, having a crack. Bloody oath. And hopefully they get the same amount of fun and pleasure that I've had out of it.
Beautiful.
That'd be good. Not everyone will, but hopefully some go on. A percentage go on, don't they? And,
Well, that's it. That's what it's about too. You got to enjoy. You got to have fun.
Yep.
It can be a roller coaster, but at the end of the day, you've got to enjoy what you've what you've done and the purpose you're there. Why you started it.
One club tour comes to mind. Rain, we got drowned. It was the first day of our 3-day tour, Queen's birthday weekend, and rain, cats and dogs. And that night in the kitchen, the wife was in the lounge watching the telly. In the kitchen, we only got a lino floor. I got the old age newspaper. It was a big wide one years ago, remember?
Yeah.
Just put it on the floor, took the seat and its post out, and just poured the oil down the post until it ran out because I didn't have time to muck about. I used to enjoy working on the bike, mechanic on the bike. But I never had time to do that. We had the race again the following day early. Yeah. Just wait till the oil run out the bottom and put the seat back.
It was all good.
Ready for the next day. And all the oil was in this newspaper. So the crazy things you'll do.
As long as it was on the newspaper, mate, it wasn't on the lino and everywhere else.
The things you'll do to want to race bikes is quite intriguing. Right?
But that's it. It's been a great, by the sounds, a great journey and a great ride. And mate, I've really enjoyed chatting with you and just a small insight into your time. Good. So mate, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Good. Frank, thank you.
Very good.